Today, we're going to talk about something very human being experiences, whether you're a child, a parent, a roommate, a supervisor, or just someone living on Earth. Interpersonal conflict. Conflict is not just about fighting, shouting, and throwing slippers at someone. At its core, conflict simply means you want something. The other person wants something different, and now we have a problem. This can happen anywhere. Friends deciding what movie to watch, roommates fighting about dishes, coworkers debating deadlines, couples arguing about who forgot the anniversary, even two strangers fighting over the last parking spot. So don't panic. Conflict is normal. The key is how we understand it. What counts as conflict, you would ask? Conflict happens when two people have incompatible goals, beliefs, or interests. If you want sushi, but your friend wants a hot pot, congratulations, that's a conflict. A small one, but still conflict. If your roommate wants quiet at night, but you want to sing Taylor Swift at 1 a.m., and that is conflict, that is indeed very serious conflict. Conflicts appear in families, friendships, classrooms, workplaces, and even between countries. There's no such thing as a conflict-free human life. Let's get familiar with the different forms of interpersonal conflict. So, different conflicts behave differently, just like weather. Sometimes it's a small rain, sometimes it's a thunderstorm. The first type is called argument. This is the loud, direct kind. People talk louder, disagree, interrupt, and make their case. Here is an example. Two coworkers arguing, "Why didn't you finish your part of the report?" "I did finish it. You just didn't check." Suddenly, everyone in the office is typing quietly, pretending not to listen. Second, disagreeable communication. Here, people argue, but not about anything important. They're just annoyed. During a meeting, one coworker says, "I don't like that idea. That won't work. That's not what we usually do." Meanwhile, everyone thinks, "Bro, we're just choosing cupcake flavors from the company party." Nothing major, but the negative attitude makes everyone uncomfortable. The third type, or third form you would say, is called hostile episode. The conflict is focused on one issue, but no one confronts it directly. Your roommate keeps leaving dirty socks on the floor. You don't yell, you don't talk about it, you just silently suffer while slowly developing a PhD in soccer anger. The tension is real, just quiet. Fourth, pervasive tension. This one is awkward. I don't know why, but I don't like being around you. It's like when two roommates start avoiding each other, one showers only when the other is gone. They tiptoe in the kitchen like ninjas. They text instead of talking, even when in the same room. No clear cause, just uncomfortable vibes. So here's something for us to practice, just for fun. We can call it a mini quiz or whatsoever. Let me tell you a scenario and you tell me what kind of conflict is this. Say a couple argues loudly about who forgot to pick up the kids. Do you think this is pervasive tension? Is this a hostile episode? What type of conflict do you think? I give you 5 seconds to think about it. This is argument. And let us look at this one. Someone disagrees with everything just because. This is disagreeable communication. Silent anger about socks. This is a hostile episode. And finally, weird uncomfortable energy for no reason. This is a pervasive tension. Great! Let's look at the different levels of conflict. Here's the story of Andre and Luke. They're servers in a restaurant. Luke shows up late, asks Andre to cover for him, and then steals tables to get tips. Now Andre is angry. He's mad. You can see the conflict in different ways. First, Luke's behavior is the problem, being late. Second, their friendship is being violated because he's been taken advantage of. Third, maybe Luke has a selfish personality. which is a treat issue. How Andre interprets the situation will shape how responds. If you're in the shoes of Andre, what would you do? To understand how to better handle conflict, we need to know the different components of conflict. So, essentially, there are 3 different components of conflict. Let's break it down. The first is called disagreement. 2 people have different views. You should study tonight. No, I'm playing video games. Nothing emotional yet, but just different ideas. The second is called interference. You're not just different, you're blocking each other. Your roommate wants to sleep, but you're cooking noodles loudly at midnight. Now you're interfering with their goal, which is to sleep. Third, negative emotions. This is when the conflict becomes heated, right? Anger, frustration, jealousy, guilt, disappointment. The roommate comes out at 12:10 a.m. and says, "Are you trying to boil the noodles or destroy the kitchen?" Now it's emotional. A conflict equals to different goals plus interference plus negative feelings. What is the purpose of having a conflict with other people? What we really want? What is the conflict goals? Every conflict has hidden goals, not just the surface goals. People think they're fighting about dishes or deadlines, but actually they're fighting about respect, fairness, and identity. Let's break down the types. The first is called instrumental goals. This is the practical reason. For example, please lower the volume. I need to sleep. Please turn your part of the project, which is simple, task-based. Second, relational goals. About the relationships. It's respect, closeness, and trust. Please talk to me nicely. Otherwise, you'll disrespect me, right? I want us to stay friends, even when we disagree. I want closeness with you. Sometimes people say, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. And that is a relational goal. Third, self-identity goals, which is actually about face-saving. This is about how you see yourself or how you want others to see you. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want people to think I'm lazy. If I apologize, will I seem weak? Many arguments continue because neither person wants to lose face. Fourth, other identity goals, which is about face-giving, or you can say respecting others. Ego, trying to protect someone else's face. A friend is late. Instead of yelling, you can say, it's okay, I know traffic was bad. You protected their dignity to avoid embarrassment. Fifth, process goals, about how we fight, not what we fight about. I need us to talk calmly. Let's take turns speaking. No yelling, no blaming. Sometimes solving the conflict starts with agreeing to the rules of communication. That's why you need to set rules as a communicator with your friends or coworkers or family members. And you need to stick to your rules. You can't change it easily. And there are certain strategies for us to deal with the conflict. How do people actually handle conflict, right? The first is called distributive strategy, which is a win or lose. The goal is that I win, you lose. For example, 2 kids fighting over 1 slice of pizza. One grabs it and runs. In adults, the representation could be I'm wrong, I'm right, and you are wrong, or my way or no way. So this solves the problem fast, but very likely it would damage the relationship. The second strategy is called integrative strategy, which is a win-win strategy. The goal is to let everyone benefit from this result. 2 co-workers want Friday off. They talk and decide. One takes a Friday morning, one takes afternoon. They cover each other's shifts. And they share the pizza instead of stealing it from each other. The third is called avoidance strategy. The goal of this strategy is to pretend the problem doesn't exist. You see a message that says we need to talk, and you immediately put your phone face down and go eat ice cream instead. Avoidance sometimes reduces stress temporarily, but the problem stays. Sometimes we avoid conflict because someone has more power. A boss yells at employees. Employees want to complain, but instead they smile and say no problem. Later, they cry in the bathroom and update their resume. This is the cheating effect. Less power equals afraid to speak up. More power equals to more control of the conversation. This leads to the discussion about communication patterns. As we talked about before, that because of the power dynamic and the hierarchical status of communicators in a conversation, that people have a different communication pattern. So the first pattern is demand and withdrawal. It usually has someone pushing and the other person avoiding. One person pushes saying, we need to talk now. The other avoiding saying, I don't want to talk about it. So the more one demands, the more the other withdraws. It's like chasing a cat. The more you chase, the faster it runs. And the second pattern is called reciprocity. We mirror each other. If someone yells, why are you like this? The other yells back, why are you like this? But reciprocity can be positive too. One person stays calm, I want to understand you. The other softens, okay, let me explain. We absorb each other's energy. A lot of us feel like we can be very emotional from time to time in conversation with others. So it is also very important for us to learn how to regulate our emotions and to learn to listen properly. To break negative patterns, we need to take a breath and don't react instantly. Try to listen before attacking. For example, instead of shouting, you never help, you can say, I'm feeling very stressed and I need help tonight. Same message, different outcome. And always remember to forgive. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or saying the behavior is okay. It means choosing not to stay trapped in anger. For example, a friend forgot your birthday. You can stay mad for 1 year. Or you can forgive, make fun of them forever, and keep the relationship or the friendship. Forgiveness rebuilds trust and makes relationships stronger. Conflict is not a monster to avoid. It's a normal part of human communication. If we understand what we are fighting about, what our goals are, how our emotions work, and how to communicate respectfully, then conflict can actually make a relationship healthier, not worse. Conflict doesn't have to mean war. Sometimes conflict is just two people trying to be heard, understood, and respected.